It is 18 minutes to 9 now. Let's have a little dig around the news to find one or two stories you might not have heard about. So, Alex, first day back after a couple of weeks. Do you want to dive straight in? What have you got for us?
Yeah, and all the stories are new to me, so I'm sure I'll be caught up by what you tell us as well. But this is one which is always a nice one. I don't know if you care much for the royal family in the UK, but we're talking about first words this morning. Prince Louis, of course, national treasure. One of his earliest words, we're told, is Mary, after he recognised the TV chef Mary Berry on a cookbook. This is according to the Duchess of Cambridge. Catherine told the story of the former Bake Off presenter in a BBC Christmas special, which was Monday evening, so I think that's on tonight. And she said the 19-month-old Prince Louis was fascinated by faces and would say, "That's Mary Berry," when he saw her cookbooks. And apparently it's because it was on the same eye level at his height. So all the cookbooks were on his eye level, so he recognised Mary Berry.
I love this. Yeah, I saw a little item about this on the news last night, actually. I mean, that's quite an accolade, isn't it?
I think Mary's an impressive word. Do you remember your first word?
I actually haven't got a... I
don't remember it, but I know what my mum told me it was.
I'm not sure. I know I could tell the time at a bizarrely young age. That was because of the clock on Play School. But no, what was your first word?
Mine was duck.
No, that's bizarre, because I think my goddaughter's first word was duck.
I think I was playing with a yellow duck in the bath. So that's where mine comes from.
No, I've never made inquiries about this.
Yeah, haven't you?
No.
See, I think it's one of those things. I always felt very curious about what.
Yeah,
what your
I'm
first
surprised
words are.
I don't know, but when you actually asked me there, right, Mother, I'll be on that phone later. What was the first word? So there we go. That's not bad for Mary Berry, and it looks really good, actually. Tonight, I think 8:30 on BBC One, this sort of royal special. It's William and Kate, isn't it? We're sort of cooking up a storm with
you
Mary.
don't get to see much of the inside lives of these the royal family, so I think it'll be quite an interesting one.
Most definitely. What have you got for us, Sean?
Well, it's that time of year when all the festival lineups for next summer seem to be being announced. Lots of news coming out in the last couple of weeks. And Glastonbury, they seem to be drip feeding their announcement. We already know that Paul McCartney is going to be the headliner on Saturday. Well, it turns out the Sunday headliner for next year will be Taylor Swift.
Ah, okay. That doesn't surprise me too much. She's pretty famous.
Yeah, and they tend to have quite a poppy one on the last day anyway, don't they? For the latecomers, keep them nice and lively at the end of the festival. So we still don't know who's going to be on the Friday, though. The favourite that seems to be doing the rounds, the rumour mill, is Kendrick Lamar.
Okay,
right.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be all right. Yeah, I'm not overly familiar.
It's not. Yeah, I don't know a huge amount about Kendrick Lamar.
But I have heard of him. That's
yes,
that's
one
a good start.
That's
but
one
he doesn't
thing.
grace the Manx Radio playlist often, does he? So I think
one or two. Did he do a song with Maroon 5? I think
that rings a bell.
We did play. So there we go.
There you go. You know more than me.
I know it all this morning, don't I? Taylor Swift, though, of course, she's done so well. She beat Michael Jackson, didn't she, in terms of awards? Was it
something like
that?
that
Was one of my Have You Heards.
It was, wasn't it?
Before I went away. Yeah, that's nuts, isn't it?
Isn't it? So you sort of think of her as still being a sort of relative newcomer, really, to the music scene, but she's doing all right. So that will be, is it June, July next year?
It's usually June, isn't it? It's usually the weekend of the longest day.
Yes.
So I think it's usually 28th of June. There we go.
All right, so there we go. Taylor Swift will be there if you fancy going. I've got another sort of slightly royal-themed story this morning. Dumfries House, an 18th century mansion in Ayrshire. They run a 5-week hospitality course for butlers who do go on to serve royalty at the palace and Windsor Castle, and they've revealed their rules for a proper cup of tea. Do you both like tea, first of all?
I love a cup of tea.
I'm not a big tea drinker, but I'm prepared to learn.
I don't drink it that much. I tend to drink more coffee, but that's because we were up very early for this program.
Keeps going. You do a lot of water, Sean, don't you?
I am. I like water and I like my coffee.
There you go. So, right, how do you make the perfect cup of tea then? Evan Sampson, who's the hospitality manager at Dumfries House, has said that you need to use loose leaves instead of tea bags, a teapot as well. Water must be heated to 100 Celsius for Earl Grey or English breakfast tea, 70 Celsius for green tea, and measured with a thermometer as well. So,
well, perhaps for royalty, Mr. Butler, but not for us with things to do.
We haven't got time.
No, we've got time for that.
Real thermometer kicking round near the kettle. He says black tea should be brewed for 5 minutes, green tea only for 3. So yeah, it's all going on, isn't it?
I don't even think I've got a thermometer thermometer, full stop, let alone near a kettle. I don't have a teapot, so...
No, I brew my tea when I have like a green tea. I brew it for the length of time that I forget it's there.
Yes,
It's like,
exactly.
oh no, the tea bag, take it out.
And I reckon you make a cracking cup of tea, Sean. So there we are. So that's it. So if you fancy being a royal butler, that is what you kind of need to be working on, okay, to really make the grade to work at the palace and get through this course at Dumfries House. Right, let's get the kettle on then.